Hey, Shalom, Shalom, Shalom. First and foremost, as usual, before I begin with this lesson, I want to start it off by giving all the glory and infinite praises to the true and only living powers. In the names of Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem Rakah HaKadosh, double honor to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, who I'm taught and do learn this truth 100% from. Peace and blessings be to you, Akim, Wakim, who is serving Yahweh Shema Shine sincerity, hoping for mercy, as well as salvation in his latter days, man. To you I say Shalom, and Yahweh Shema Shai Brakathun. So this gonna be a Lamback / revisiting of this this video that the elder Mahalaya from the Kansas City camp had put out, going into a realistic scenario, because it's not a matter of if these things will happen. It's just a matter of when. We know that it's prophecy, right? And we can see all the signs. All the signs are there, right? That an economic collapse, as well as a power grid collapse, is coming, right, to the shores of the Western civilization, right, and particularly America, man. All right, but I also got this this quote that I want to revisit. If I ain't mistaken, I think he went by the name of Albert Pike. He had quoted or stated the Western civilization is only 9 missed meals from anarchy. All right, and basically what he meant by that was that it's only going to take 9 missed meals, right? People to miss 9 meals before basically shit goes into shambles. Before people start contemplating on stealing things from the neighbors, even putting them to death. Looting grocery stores, rioting, and beyond that, man. But I got a little bit of this, or the elder's lesson that I want to play, because the elder was basically reading, he read a lot of it, and Lord willing, if I remember, I'll place the link to the brother's video in the comment section, so brothers can go check that out and get edified, right? Because, the brother was going into a lot of it, but what it caught my eye, was the first paragraph that the brother was reading, man. And a lot of the precepts that he had brought out, I already had them in mind, man. All right, but as the Lord said, give him rest, neither day nor night. All right, we're going to sound like a broken record. You're going to have brothers that bring the same precepts out, right? But they're going to bring them out, and they, bring them out, in a different way, so to speak. In the same way, but in a different way, so to speak, if that makes sense. All right, same message, but a different deliverance. All right.
So anyway, it says the third morning marked the beginning of widespread panic, meaning people are going to start to bug out, all right, because supermarkets or grocery stores being able to go and get certain items will be pretty much a thing of the past, because for one thing, you're going to have to deal with chaos and rioting, all right, looting. Like I mentioned in the other video, you may try to go get a pack of turkey legs or some shit, or drumsticks, and then somebody end up bust you upside the head because they want what you got. And that's the type of world that we're getting ready to enter into, because we saw part of that doing the C-19.
And I just want to add to the brother's point, that ain't too far-fetched. All right, that type of shit is not too far-fetched, because people's mindset is people is going to go into a barbaric ass mindset, because people here are gluttons. All right, motherfuckers ain't even just 3 meals a day. You got people who eat 5 meals a day, eat 5,000 calories, or they constantly just snacking on shit. You know what I mean? All right, 3 meals is a lot of meals, man, when you think about it. the Lord ain't intend on us to eat that many times during the day, right? But that's something that Amalek has strategically done, right? Because it's gonna be easier to starve your ass, man. Right? If you was used to what is it, intermediate fasting, limiting yourself on how much you eat, then I mean it wouldn't be that bad, right? But since people are so accustomed to being gluttons and eating every hour of the day, just imagine the withdrawals people are gonna have from the chemicals of the food. All right, just going through it. People's mindset people are filled with parasites. The parasites are gonna be, you know, fucking with people's mental. It's gonna be bad out here, man. All right, so it's not gonna take that long. All right, it ain't gonna be the first day, or it ain't gonna be the second day, but best believe that third day, people gonna start thinking of shit. All right, them demons gonna start getting on people to have them thinking like, man, I don't know. I'm hungry as a bitch. I don't think I can do this. And I know he has something, so we're gonna go over there and check that out. And if he ain't trying to share it, give it up, then we gonna take it from him. All right, that's gonna be people's mindset, because as the brother was getting into, at the beginning of the C19 demic, it was people. I remember seeing videos of this shit. It was people waiting outside of grocery stores, snatching people's carts and shit. All right. People was stealing out of the grocery stores. Now, it wasn't just a widespread thing, you know what I mean? But it was happening. All right, happening to the point where they did start putting locks and alarms on like steak packages and shit like that. Right, and that was just a trial run that Eastside put out. So imagine the real thing, man. All right.
Scamdemic, you know. But it says distribution centers can no longer function without electricity, digital logistics, or stable fuel deliveries. And remember, they're already talking about shortages on fuel because of the war in Iran, all right, and the closing of the strait, which that ceasefire just fell through, as the scriptures say that there's no peace unto the wicked. But it says here, freight systems stalled across country while trucks sat and mobilized besides empty highways because of refineries, pumping stations, and communication infrastructure had all collapsed together. Now, remember going back to 2020 when those supply chains were halted, you had cargo freight ships literally coming from parts of the straits, and they were being halted in certain parts of the Pacific, because they couldn't dock them in. I mean, you literally had ships and barges sitting off the coast of Cali, I'm talking about, for months at a time. So that was a shortage of a supply chain there, right? But it says here,
And people forget about that. A lot of people don't even know about that. I remember that shit. People that work at them ports, recording videos. I remember even, if I am mistaken, I think the brother Barack Allah, the elder Barack Allah from out there in California, a couple of them brothers out there drive trucks, and if I ain't mistaken, I think he recorded a video showing how empty it was. All right, and like I said, that was just a trial run. It wasn't meant to last that long, right? But they was just they was doing that to see where people had to be at. All right, imagine when they actually, cut this shit completely off to where there is no imports. Right, there is no imports, to the docks, and from there, the trucks come and pick them up and distribute them to the warehouses, and then from there they go to the Costco's and the different other little grocery store chains, the fast food chains. Imagine when that's no longer a thing, man. All right, people probably think that you're gonna be able to go and just fish, and man, look, this shit is gonna be worse than what you people can imagine, man. All right, a lot of people is getting ready to be just some starving motherfuckers out here, man. All right, period, point blank, period, man. All right.
Americans discovered that growing horror that most supermarkets carry only a few days worth of inventory under normal conditions because the average grocery store has only 3 days supply of food. You know, so let's just say if you got 1,000 people that's trying to go into Walmart and they loot it, they can clean that place dry within an hour, maybe shorter. But it says worth of inventory under normal conditions, but once panic buying consumed those reserves, nothing remained behind the shelves. But suburban neighborhoods transform almost overnight into armed enclaves gripped by suspicion and fear. It says residents organize patrols and reports of burglaries and violent home invasions spread through fragmented radio broadcasts and word of mouth. Firearms disappear from the store inventories.
I'm gonna go to this quote right here. 9 mils from Anarchy. All right, in 1906. Oh yeah, this is the dude name. Alfred Henry Lewis stated, "There were only 9 mils between mankind and anarchy." Since then, his observation has been echoed by people as desperate or disparate as Robert Heinlein and Leon Trotsky. The key here is that unlike all other commodities, food is the one essential that cannot be postponed, right? And Esau knows that, man. All right, Esau knows that shit. That's why Amalek, they're in complete control over it. All right, this is why, you see the things happening that are happening, especially when it comes to the Strait of Hormuz. That didn't just happen by coincidence. This was all planned, man. People watch The Simpsons and think, "Oh, they predicted it." No, hey, and guess who? Guess who? Guess who runs that shit? Amalek. All right, so it's not that they predicting it; they just showing you what it is before they do it, man. All right, and first and foremost, the Lord has the prophets out here telling you and going through the scriptures and proving that these things are getting ready to happen. All right, you people just choose to turn a blind eye to it because you live a comfortable life. All right, you have everything accessible at the tip of your fingers, man. All right, but there's a time coming where you are no longer going to be able to have that type of access, the luxury of being able to go, and even if it is GMO food, fake ass food, you're not going to be able to go to have access to any of that, man. All right, shit is about to get real bumpy out here. Especially for those that don't got the Lord on their side, man. Hey, but of course, the Lord said that his servants will eat, man. All right, but for you people out there, you thinking that, nothing is gonna happen and this is impossible, you just wait, man. Right, you just wait to see what this devil gonna pull out his pocket, man. It says if there were a shortage of if there were a shortage of, say, shoes, we could make do for months or even years. Damn, it's a mosquito in here, Salaki. This shit bugging me. That shit's bugging the fuck out of me, Salaki. It says we can make do for months or even years. A shortage of gasoline would be worse, but we could survive it through mass transport or even walking if necessary. All right? Yeah, because you don't necessarily need shoes to survive, man. All right? You can fuck around and make shoes out of anything, but one thing that you can't make is food. All right? You know what I mean? Jay think that they gonna be able to just go to the river or go to these canals and lakes and ponds and fish. Okay, let's say if you do that, what's gonna happen when everything is overfished? Like when you read about like in the book of Josephus, how they ate up all the vegetation and shit. Okay, they thought they was cool right then and there. Like, finish that shit up. What else did they start resorting to? Eating rubber or eating leather. You know what I mean? After you finish, shit is gonna get cannibalistic real soon, man. Right? Once everything that is edible is completely gone, All right, shit's gonna get cannibalistic real soon, man. All right, people don't truly understand the severity of what a famine can do. All right, people don't understand the severity of what a famine is, man. All right. It says the key here is that unlike all, oh, okay, I read that. Let's jump down. It says, but food is different. If there were an interruption in the food supply, it's like in the supply of food, fear was set in immediately. Yeah, because people are so dependent on Esau. This is why the scriptures say, woe unto him that go down to Egypt for help. All right, and Esau is gonna do this on purpose to get you as desperate as he possibly can. So it's gonna be without a doubt that you're gonna go, you know what I'm saying, to these FEMA camps and go and take that C-hip, you know what I'm saying, in order to eat a can of that fake ass Campbell soup and, you know, some damn white bread. All right, it's gonna be easy for him to do it. All right, but this is why, you know, hey, brothers, as well as you sisters out there, we got to get ourselves girded up, man. All right, get ourselves ready to be able to face this, because even though the Lord did say he going to look out, you know, we got to be prepared to fight that temptation, man. All right, because there ain't no telling how long we'll go without eating. It may be 2 days, maybe 3 days. It may not be. All right, but we don't know necessarily what to expect. All right. It says, and if the resumption of the food supply were uncertain, the fear would become pronounced. After only 9 missed meals, all right, you got to think about it. 9 missed meals, that's not a lot of meals, man. All right, people here eat 3 meals a day. All right, so it's the spirit that the brother was getting into it. You know, days 3 to 5. All right, 9 meals, that's 3 days without eating. All right, 3, 6, 9, 8. Yeah, that's 3 days, man. All right. It says, and if the resumption of the food supply were uncertain, the fear would become pronounced. After only 9 missed meals, it's not unlikely that we to panic and be prepared to commit a crime to acquire food. If we were to see our neighbor with a loaf of bread and we owned a gun, we might well say, I'm sorry, you're a good neighbor, and we've been friends for years, but my children haven't eaten today. I have to have that bread even if I have to shoot you. It's gonna get like that real quick. As the brother was saying, it's gonna be a dog eat world out here, man. Right? The love of many shall wax cold, man. People not gonna care if y'all went to school together. People not gonna care if y'all served in the military together, or even if you're family, man. All right? People are gonna get their means by any means necessary, man. Even if it comes down to, you know, sending people back to the spirit world, man. Shit is gonna get that bad out here. All right. It says, but surely there's no need to speculate on this concern. There's nothing on the evening news. Let's see. Let's jump down. All right, that's pretty much it on that. All right. So let me grab a couple of scriptures real quick. Let's go to the book of 2nd Ezra 6. I'm going to try to make it quick because it's hot than a motherfucker in this car. 2nd Ezra 6 and 22, it says, and suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown, and the full storehouse shall suddenly be found empty. Like the brother was getting into, say if it's 1,000 people that storm into a Walmart, man, that shit'll be gone in probably less than an hour, man. And you can just imagine the type of chaos that you would see in there. You know, they depict it in movies all the time. You know, people going there, like in World War Z. You know, they going there to find medicine, but there's people in there having shootouts, in there with their rifles, in there with their guns. It's shit all over the ground, man. All right, it's not going to take that long for people to go in there and ramshack all that shit, man. All right, once people start to panic, that's exactly what's going to happen, man. All right, and once people start running out of the shit they've took out of these stores, then they're gonna start going and searching, you know what I'm saying, going door to door to houses, trying to see if they can, find their basic necessities, so to speak. All right. It says, and the trumpet shall give a sound, which every man when he hears shall be suddenly afraid. At that time shall friends fight one against another like enemies, and the earth shall stand in fear with those that dwell therein. The springs of the fountain shall stand still, and in 3 hours they shall not run. All right, and if you think people be falling out with each other over money, or falling out with each other over little offenses and shit, just imagine when it's gonna come to, people's stomach and shit hurting, people having a empty stomach. It's gonna be like it's gonna be like the road real quick out here, man. It's gonna be a house full of just bodies and shit with people, basically doing a motherfucking catch, clean, and cook. Your brother know what I'm talking about. You catch a fish, you see it on YouTube, they catch a fish, they gut it, they clean it, and then they cook it. That's what people gonna be out here doing to other people, man. Catch, clean, and cook on them. All right. Let's go to the book of Ezekiel, the 7th chapter, and the brother had also brought this out. But like I said, right, the Lord got it getting brung out for a reason. All right, this is the book of Ezekiel 7. In verse 14, it says, they have blown a trumpet, even to make all ready, but none go into the battle. For my wrath is upon all the multitude thereof, because here in Babylon, and really you just got to be living under a rock, right? Because this shit is evident, all right? If you paying attention and you got the spirit with you, this shit is evident. It ain't hard to see, all right? But of course, when you live in a life of comfort and you just stuck on stupid shit, sports and bread and circus and money and shit, man, of course you ain't gonna see it. All right, but that's why when it comes, it's gonna be that much more worse, man. All right, it says the sword is without, and the pestilence and the famine within. He that is in the field shall die with the sword, and he that is in the city, famine and pestilence shall devour him. But they that escape of them shall escape, and shall be on the mountains like doves of the valleys, all of them mourning, everyone for his iniquity. All hands shall be feeble, and all knees shall be weak as water. They also shall gird themselves with sackcloth, and horror shall cover them. And shame shall be upon all faces, and baldness upon all their heads. They shall cast their silver in the streets, and their gold shall be removed. Their silver and their gold shall not be able to deliver them in the day of the wrath of the Lord. They shall not satisfy their souls, neither fill their bowels, because it is the stumbling block of their iniquity. All right? You going to have some empty-ass bowels. Niggas ain't even going to have bowel movements. They ain't even going to have no bowel movements. You ain't even going to be able to boo-boo because you ain't going to be eating nothing. All right? All that money, I know Jake's right now. You know what I'm saying? Every one of us do. But I know Jake's right now who all they worrying about is fucking money. You know what I mean? It'd be cool if you getting into your daily bread, getting into your bag, and you got, you putting the Lord first, but you niggas is just worrying about this bag. All right? Wait until all that money you got in the account, you can't even access it because the damn power out. All right? What you gonna do then, man? All right? Like I said, easier said than done. You niggas think that it's gonna be easy, man. All right? It'll only be right if I grab this, man. Gotta grab this. 2nd Ezra 15 and 19. Gotta grab it. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. All right, this is why these things are going to happen. This is why you're going to see people. Because right now, if the price is surging, if this can't get your attention, and it's getting people attention, but if it's not going to put you in the uproar, man, this damn famine show will. All right, this famine is going to have people acting a fool out here, man. All right, so with that being said, Adam Ratazah, this lesson was edifying, and that that I did prove the point in this lesson that my sacrifice was acceptable in the eyes of Yahweh Shema Shah. So with that being said, Shalom, Yahweh Shema Shah Barakathan.